Well, I wanted to talk to you about You Already Know, your podcast, which launched on May 15. Um, it's got to be tough working with one of your best friends on a podcast talking about pop culture. Where did this idea come about for you guys to do the podcast?
Yeah, man, luckily it hasn't been too tough. We figured out a way to do it where it's like how we would be hanging out anyway. It's really conversational, you know what I'm saying? So that feels good. And then somebody was trying to, convince me to do a podcast anyway. And then I was talking to him like, yo, you need to do a podcast. You know what I'm saying? Because he likes to talk. He's very enthusiastic. If you listen to the cast, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then he was like, let me sleep on it or whatever. And came back to me the next day like, okay, this is the plan. We're going to do a podcast. We're going to start a company. We're going to do this and that and the other, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah.
You talk about a lot of things with pop culture. Is there any celebrities or artists that are off limits for the two of you?
No, I mean, public knowledge is public knowledge. You know what I'm saying? It's like we're not out to diss anybody. That's not, what we're here for. We're here, just to really celebrate entertainment and pop culture and stuff like that. And then, everything turned kind of upside down in the latter months. But, we're trying to see the positive in it. So hopefully we bring a little joy to people.
What's been your favorite topic so far?
My favorite. Oh, look at you got the sign back there. Look at that.
We're probably promoting your podcast.
That's
Everyone get on
unbelievable.
it right now.
That's unbelievable. Okay, everybody, pay attention to the background right now because that's the name of the cast. That's amazing. I need to be recording
Already
this.
know.
Why can't I? I'm recording this. Yeah. Sorry. What was the question?
What's been your
What's been
favorite
my
topic
favorite
so
subject?
far?
Oh, my favorite topic is when we talk about directors that have three hits in a row. That's my favorite topic to discuss because you would think, the obvious ones have three in a row, but there's always that third one that was kind of like, I don't know if you can really call that a hit. It's an interesting conversation.
All right, mate. We need to talk about something that everyone wants to hear from you. Emmys nominated for a fourth
Unbelievable.
time. How did you celebrate this morning?
Man, I celebrated by just slowly spreading the word, you know what I mean, amongst family and really just embracing the love from loved ones, basically. Just a million text messages and stuff like that, and a shot with you, basically. Going to pick up the babies from grandma's house in a little while. You know what I mean? I'm hanging out. There's not much partying to be had these days, but it's all good. I'm overly, humbled by it. You know what I'm saying? Like I wasn't expecting it at all, and I think the category is really impressive. You know what I'm saying? So I'm looking forward to whatever the outcome is.
You've been in the game for a long time now, but it still must feel special every time you're up for an award, right?
Oh, for sure, man. It's an acknowledgement by your peers. These are people that I admire and look up to. I mean, I'm in the same, sentence with Alan Arkin. Like, forget about it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, can we talk about SNL? Because quite different the last few episodes from this latest season. What was it? Season 45 we're up to.
Yeah.
How did it change for you? What was the weirdest adaptation you had to make from filming it at home?
I mean, the weirdest was just doing it the first time, because I haven't even done a lot of just like internet sketches for like Instagram or anything on my own. You know what I mean? I haven't done a lot of just like recording myself doing stuff, you know what I mean, outside of professional environments. I'm just very new to that. And it kind of like catapulted me into that, you know what I mean? And we had to do it at such a high level because it's supposed to like, be up there with Saturday Night Live. You know what I'm saying? That's a crazy feat to try to tackle, especially in your first steps or whatever. But I think it progressed and got better each week. And, we ended off on a higher note. So, that was cool.
When you were back in the studio, bumper season, you had J-Lo, Harry Styles, Eddie Murphy,
crushing it.
Chance the Rapper, Will Ferrell. Who was your favorite from the last season? Was it great to see Eddie back?
Oh, that was incredible. I mean, I think that, I think the overall story of the season because he was the prodigal son, he was, the one that's been away for the longest and the big superstar that hadn't been back yet. So after Sandler did it, that was a big feat. And then, Eddie was announced over the summer. That was just crazy. I was like, man, Lorne Michaels never sleeps. You know what I mean? It was amazing. So, and that was the Christmas show. It was just, an epic moment. But I had a lot of favorites. J.J. Watt was awesome. There was just Chance, of course, my brother. Will Ferrell and all of that, J-Lo, yeah, it was an amazing season. We were really on a run, and we were at Daniel Craig, who was last, and he's always a blast too. That was his, I think, second time since I've been there, and
Yeah,
he was so much fun too. So we were really cooking.
he was great. I remember I work in 30 Rock as well, and when I was there when Harry Styles was on, the lineup for
The
people trying to
nicest.
get tickets. Did you see how big the line was?
It's because he's the nicest guy in the world, but he's also insanely talented. Like his music resonates so hard with people. It's amazing. Like his fan base is probably, I don't know, the spectrum is probably 100 years. You know what I mean? The span of people that just love him and dig him.
Mm.
He's overly indulgent to whatever you ask of him. He's just a great dude.
He's a really good actor as well. I was surprised in the skits. I was
Absolutely.
like, he's crushing it.
Man, he crushed it in Chris Red's sketch where he was like the drug dealer who didn't really know the game and stuff like that. Yo, Harry was committed, super committed.
What's the latest on a potential Kenan and Kel Good Burger sequel? Is it still in the works? I would die.
I mean, yeah, it's in the works. I mean, it's all in talks. So hopefully the numbers can match up to everybody's expectations and we can get it done, basically. Um, but yeah, there's, talks being had is, I guess, all I can say about that.
We did actually have a couple of weeks ago Shaq on Happy Hour.
Oh, nice.
Do you remember the conditions just before? He told us he just came from a game and then came and recorded his scene for you guys.
Oh, crazy. No, I never knew that. You know what I mean? It was just, we showed up for work and he showed up eventually, and we were just like, oh, snap, Shaq's in the building. So we didn't really talk to him like that because he's a giant, you know what I mean? And it's like, you give giants their space. And he's also like, I figured he was super busy or whatever, so I didn't want to bother him. But yeah, I was just overly enthusiastic that he even showed up to do that. It was crazy. You could see it on our faces in that scene.
Well, heck, you didn't want to bother. He was coming onto your set. You should have been like, all right, Shaq, this is how we do it.
Yeah, but it's Shaq, man. You know what I mean? Anybody past 6'5", you got to give him a little bit of space.
Who's your dream SNL host that hasn't ever done it, and what skit would you do for them? What skit would you have in mind for them? Is there anybody?
There's a few. Like Brad Pitt was on that list for a long time, and he recently did it. It was like him and Eddie were at the top because they were like two greats. I feel like that kind of should do it and hadn't done it yet. But I feel like maybe like Tom Cruise would be a lot of fun, or Will Smith is another one. I would love to do What's Up with That with Will Smith, probably just doing something crazy. But yeah, people like that.
If you had to pick, who would you be a little bit nervous to impersonate on the show because of their reaction to how you play them?
Probably The Rock, between The Rock and Barack. The Rock and Barack. If I ever had to do either one of them, I might be a little nervous.
But hang on, The Rock's the nicest guy in the world.
They both are.
Are you
I'm
just
just saying
scared
I
about
would.
what
That's what
physically
I'm
who's you?
scared that I would be the one to rub either one of those super gentlemen the wrong way. I would feel horrible.
How hard is it not to break character and laugh? And does Lorne get mad when people do?
um, it's insanely hard, especially for me. I don't know. I like to have a good time, and I feel very privileged to have this front row seat to this, global entertainment that everybody's taking in, and I'm like right there in front of it. So like, who am I not to laugh at something insanely funny that's right in front of me? I try to keep it to my off-camera time if I can, but also laughing through rehearsals like helps it because it's not so new to me, I guess. But yeah, Lauren doesn't overly love it if it's distracting, but if it helps, it's all a win.
I can see sometimes, not you, you're actually really good at it, but your co-stars, you can see it in their eyes and also in their soul, you can feel it, they're laughing.
Yeah, I mean, we like to have fun, and we're all very close. So if something like tickles one of us, we'll all start going because we're connected like that. But yeah, I try to just keep it to a smirk or something and shake it off and keep the service of the writing going, basically, because that's what we're there to do, service the writing and service you, the audience.
If you won an Emmy, who would you definitely forget to thank and regret it later?
Oh my gosh, probably God, You know what I mean? Like you want to start with thanking God, but then you want to like maybe start with a joke if you're up for a comedy award, and then it kind of spirals from there. And then you're playing catch up with people, and then the music starts playing, and then oh man, I forgot to thank God, and I would just feel horrible. So I'll try to remember that.
Put God on your list, all right? Start writing your notes now. Put it at the top.
Right?
All right, number two. Which of your fellow SNL cast member nominees would give the best fake smile and applause when their name wasn't announced? Kate McKinnon or Cecily Strong?
I feel like Kate probably because I think Cecily wouldn't be able to fake emotion. She'll really be like, she'll really be showing it on her face. Like if she feels like it's some bullshit, you'll be able to tell.
All right, we're locking in Kate for that one. Who would you rather sit next to? Your boss, Lorne, or a seat filler for the entire show?
Lauren's my buddy. I like sitting next to Lauren. He's insanely funny. I don't know if people get a chance to, ever really talk to him in a long capacity or whatever, but he used to be a comedian and he was, writes and stuff like that. So he has a funny way of like throwing some quips in there that are pretty funny that come out of nowhere. So, I learned a lot being around that guy.
Would you rather fall walking up the stage for your acceptance speech or have the camera catch you nodding off during the ceremony?
Uh, Man, I've always wanted to plan the whole like tripping and falling thing. And I talked to my wife about it once, and she was like, nobody would ever believe that you planned to do that. So you would never be able to like capitalize off of being funny by claiming it later or whatever. So yeah, I think I'd rather doze off.
Which SNL cast member would make the worst and the best plus one to an award show if you had to bring one as your date?
Which cast member would make the worst? I would say probably uh, maybe Mikey. He's gonna kill me for this, but probably Mikey. He has a little nervous energy, and he'd be looking around and kind of like restless and stuff like that. I'm like, hey, settle down, man. He's like, all right, is everything going to be all right? Are we supposed to be here? He is
So
going
he's
to
the
kill me.
worst. Who would make the best?
Who would make the best? Like out of the cast, probably 80, man. She's the sweetest, and she's the most supportive person in the world. So yeah, it should be fun.
All right, Kenan, last question. Which cast member is most likely to be the next awards show meme?
Which is the next award show meme? I mean, it's probably me because I'm going to be crying regardless of what happens, just because I'm just overly moved by what's going on this year. It's been a rough year, but also it's been very progressive in certain ways. And if we can just keep that moving forward, then that's all I can really ask for.